Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Buds, and today we are reviewing what I think is probably one of the only 10-year-old bourbons I've seen on a store shelf in recent memory, Russell's 10-year. Zach, what do you know about Russell's Reserve?
So Russell's Reserve is kind of like Wild Turkey's more premium brand. The Russells select these barrels themselves. So what they probably do, I don't know this for sure, they probably go through their barrels when they're at a younger age, and they select their best ones that aren't going to be used as maybe like single barrels for Kentucky Spirit or store picks, and they turn them into Russell's 10. Mm-hmm. What I like about Russell's 10 is the value. So Nick, on that note, are you ready to try?
Let's talk about the value first. This is a $30 bottle before tax, yeah. So that is a good value for a 10-year-old bourbon. But with that being said, yes, I am ready to try it. Cheers.
That nose is awesome.
Yes, it is. You can get, I read on their website, you can get the sort of citrus and orange peel sort of scent off of the nose with a hint of butterscotch. I think it said caramel too, but I didn't get caramel. I got more butterscotch than anything else.
I get vanilla and oak. Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty oaky for a 90 proof. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's 10 years old, so I mean, it has more oak on it than for a 10-year-old, like more than normal.
Mm-hmm. Still has a very good nose for it.
Oh yeah, the nose is great. That's really good. It's kind of, the only complaint I have is it's kind of thin. Mm-hmm. Like, even for a 90 proof, it's kind of thin, but it's still excellent sipping bourbon.
Oh yeah, for me it kind of lacks in flavor.
Yeah,
because I mean, you can get sort of a citrusy note to it, but a lot of it's just like heavy oak. And for me, like I wouldn't say it's disappointing, but when it is something to be desired, I think the 90 proof has a good chunk of it to do with that.
Yeah, the bourbon itself is great.
Yes.
It's cut a little bit too much. I think if it was put at like even 100 proof, it would make the world of difference.
Yeah, and what do you think of the finish on that? Because that's also something that's excellent.
I think the finish is awesome. So the finish on this bourbon is a little different because it's not spicy, but it lingers, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't just go away.
Mm-hmm. You can get a sort of a vanilla finish to it. It's very smooth as well.
Extremely, but it lingers. It doesn't just go away.
Mm-mm. You take like an inhale through the mouth, and you get a lot more of the finish on the palate. It's just like, it's good stuff. And speaking of vanilla, I want to go back to the taste for a little bit. You can kind of taste a little bit. They say on this bottle that there is delivers notes of rich and spicy vanilla. You can get vanilla, and it's a little bit spicy. And I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of the spicy vanilla taste to it. I just don't think spiciness and vanilla really go very well together. But to each their own. What do you think?
I think it definitely needs some improvements,
yes,
but I think it's a great bottle for $35.
And it's a 10-year-old bottle too.
Yeah. So the question that I have is about, the Russell's 10 is how long Wild Turkey will still, how long you'll still be able to find it, because, it's pretty widely available, but a 10-year-old for $35, you just got to question how much juice they can continuously put out that's 10 years old,
And another 10-year-old bourbon I want to bring up, Henry McKenna 10. It's kind of similar to that, except
it's better.
I can't really remember much of the flavor on the Henry McKenna 10. But
those are single barrels though, so they're all different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not really fair to compare. Never mind. But still with the Henry McKenna 10, you used to be able to find them in stores till they won a couple of awards, and I think 2019 or something.
Something,
yeah. Yeah, and then once they won that award, gone off the shelf, and you can only get it at certain places for a much higher price.
I could easily see that happening.
Yes, but as it stands right now, this is a very good. This is a good value for it. It's a
Extreme.
10-year-old bourbon for
That's good.
$30.
That's good.
You don't see that very often.
No.
I can only recall Henry McKenna 10, but that's it.
And I just want to say too about other Russell's products.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I've gotten into bourbon, I've started to see a little bit less of the other offerings. Like for example, the Russell's Reserve like single barrel, not the store picks, just the single barrel. I'm starting to see less and less. Kentucky Spirit as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if that's not going to happen with these.
Hopefully it won't, but if it does, adapt and overcome. So is there any other final thoughts from you, Zach?
Not really. Just that it's an incredible value.
All right. And I agree with those sentiments. I do wish the flavor was a bit more, but it's 90 proof and it's a 10-year-old $30 bourbon.
You can't complain.
No. But so with that being said, this has been another episode of the Bourbon Buzz, and we all hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the bell icon so you know when we upload. And comment down below on what your experience with Russell's Reserve is, either the 10-year or any of its other products. Be sure to follow our Instagram, linked in the description below. Thank you all for watching.